This man has never knocked nobody out cold. He's a bully. He's slow. He has no skill, no footwork. He's awkward. And I have been giving him a name. Because he fights. When he's fighting, if you ever watch him in the ring, he drags like that after his opponent. And how's a mummy gonna catch me?
And all I had to do was to go out and beat for a man who had no skill, no class. Seriously, the man had no skill. I don't know why the world is so foolish to believe in him and think that I wasn't gonna win.
Well, when you say you're ready to go to war right now,
I see that guy on the street, I beat him before the fight.
you'd actually take him on before the fight?
Beat him like I'm his daddy.
All the basketball players out there, football players, they want to beat so bad, they want to get everybody. I'll go to Mars, I don't care.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
Yo, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Lights Out Sports Talk. And again, we're doing what I hope is going to be a continuous segment on this show now. It's where we dedicate, again, Sunday morning here to a nice, quick debunk. Okay, and by debunk, I mean we're going to go ahead and take your favorite narratives, most terrible takes, recent in the past, and believe me, there are no shortage of them, and I know you know this. And we're going to take them apart, not using feelings or emotions, but logic, facts that come from knowing the game, watching the game, and being unbiased, right? And believe me, like I said, there are no shortage of these terrible narratives, takes out there, these agendas, and you know what they are. We're going to tackle them here for you, okay? I'm T Perfect, joined here, as always, by King Speech Row. How you doing today, man?
Hey, what's up, Tribe? Doing good today, man. Beautiful 96-degree day down here, man.
Fuck you. I mean, it's cold here, but hey, we're staying warm. Yeah, guys. So today, I figure we do a couple. Not sure what roses yet, but I'm sure I'll find out. But the one I want to do first, and just to kind of get it, destroy it, is one that's been, I guess, pushed a little bit more recently. As it's just obviously like when you hear this take, it's normally about, it's designed to not necessarily attack this player and lower his ranking, because the people who bring it up actually believe that. It's designed to attack anybody who was around Michael Jordan during his prime, right? Or considered his actual best quote unquote competition, right? And they think by doing that, it's going to somehow convince all of us that Michael Jordan is not either the GOAT or a top 5 player, whatever the case is, right? Because they think he's coming to. And of course, I'm talking about your boy Hakeem Olajuwon. So, obviously, you know who is propagating this stuff, but the Hakeem is overrated aspect here. Before I go ahead and tear this down completely, but overall, what are your thoughts on this this narrative here? King Rowe just summed up.
Yeah. Hakeem Olajuwon is the second greatest defender, I think, in NBA history, and he is the greatest defender I've ever seen. Post-up game, him and Kevin McHale were absolutely unstoppable. Hakeem Olajuwon was a force to be reckoned with. Now, There were some shortcomings in his game. Like he wasn't the greatest ball handler. He actually got better at that. He got better at the game of basketball. People I remember before he came to the United States, he was a soccer player. So he picked up the game of basketball. Like a lot of African guys or whatever, foreigners. He picked up the game of basketball very late, and actually became a better player, as he went on. When you looked at it, the number one pick, wanted to took Plasma Jammer to the finals game. They lost to the shout out to Lorenzo Charles, a fellow Brooklyn Tech engineer, of getting that game winning dunk. But like he had success, elite player. He was an elite player from the time he picked up basketball. And at no point was he overrated. Yes, he did have 5 years of not getting out of the first round, but again, he had a good 4 or 5 year run where he was the best, damn sure one of the best 5 players on the planet. So yeah, the fact that he's overrated is just low. It's just low IQ talk.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And like Rohit said here, guys, I've never, like, when you hear this stuff, like I said, when they're overrated, and really if you go to these people's, if you listen to them explain why, it's just like how Ro explained and what he mentioned here, where it's not going to be based on his accolades, achievements, stats, or impact on his team, right? It's always going to be something ancillary, like they didn't feel like he was a good teammate, or he lost in the first round, or something injury related. Not anything really basketball. Okay, they don't want to talk that. They just want to say, well, this happened, and in my opinion, that makes him overrated. They don't want to get into the nitty gritty. Now, fortunately, your guys here don't really play that. Okay, and we think Hakeem. I don't know. I've never heard anyone say that Hakeem's the GOAT. Okay, of all time. If someone said that, I would say, okay, maybe you're overrated a little bit. But Hakeem to me is number 5 all time. If I'm number 10 or a top 10, I don't care. I think that's great. But moving him outside that is a little iffy to me. And again, here's why. Okay, now this is the main thing talking about now. This is what you're going to use to debunk these dumb takes and dumb narratives, right? You want to use stats. You want to use accolades. You want to use context, not feelings. Okay, so Hakeem, first all-time in blocks regular season. Okay, and third all-time in the postseason, despite playing in just 145 postseason games. For context, he's the only player in the top 5 of this category that didn't play at least 200 games. He's the only player other than Michael Jordan to be top 5 at their position in both blocks and steals per game. Okay, to give this a little perspective, Hakeem is 10th all-time in total steals. There isn't another center that comes in the top 50 in this category. Okay, he's one of just 3 players to register a 200 steal, 100 block season. The other 2 are, being Mike and Scotty. Okay, he's one of just 3 players to register so he's one of, again, only 3 players to have at least 1 MVP, a Finals MVP, and a DPOY. Obviously, he's in great company with Mike and Giannis in that category. Okay, he's 4th all time in defensive win shares. And for some context, the guy above him, Kareem, okay, he trails him by just 0.02%, despite playing over 300 fewer games than Kareem. Okay, he's the only player to win all 3 of those awards in the same season. Okay, now, also, this is something that a lot of people know about Hakeem, though, but he's the only consensus top 10 player in league history, right, who performed better in the playoffs than the regular season across all 6 major statistical areas, including field goal percentage. Okay, so that's just about kind of the tip of the iceberg, okay, with Hakeem. Just some things that they'll never tell you when they're trying to attack this man, okay? That is, now, Hakeem is just otherworldly, okay, especially when you compare him to some of the other players in his day. But just on the top, what do you think about some of that, Ro? Obviously, that's stuff that we've talked about multiple times.
I mean, look, when I debated CW with the Duncan versus Hakeem, and one thing I I left on the board. I didn't even realize he's the all-time leading shot blocker and all-time leader in blocks per game. And that statistical dominance right there, how could you, it's like, to me, it is like the big five counting stats, right? Points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. If you take one of those, John Stockton has two of those. Keem has one of those. Wilt has one of those, and the other one obviously is LeBron. Well, you can't call these guys overrated. To have, if stats matter, then you can't call a guy overrated that has one of the big five counting stats. Right?
Great point, 100%. And like I said, also, and everyone, I'm sure, everyone in the chat, we all know this, is that everything they use to attack Hakeem Olajuwon, right? Like, you heard the narrative, like they think he's a bad teammate, or he lost in the first round of playoffs. These are not arguments that they would use with anyone else. All right, they're not going to use or anything, right? That's ancillary, right? If we talk about LeBron James and say, hey, you know what, LeBron lost in the first round, or LeBron missed the playoffs altogether a number of times. He's 4-6. Maybe he's a bad teammate. All these things, it don't necessarily have to do with basketball, right? They're just byproducts or things that are a little bit outside of the control, things that really circle around being a team game. But they'll never go out there, man, like that. They'll try to counter it with facts, with stats, accolades, achievements. And so, but LeBron is the only person they're going to white knight for. Guys like Hakeem get washed in the sauce because he's part of their ongoing narrative that everyone Michael Jordan faced was a bum, or wildly overrated for this, that, and the other. They're not going to get into the facts like we're doing here. Okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, hey, just to highlight some of these people, the people watching our show know their stuff. Okay, like Woodage, Dakota Black. Yes, you're correct. And they did it 4 times. Hakeem and Duncan on the same team would be OP. Sure, 100%. Right? I think they're two of the 3 greatest defenders of all time. Bill Russell's up there too. All right, in my opinion. Hakeem over Shaq, I agree with that. I wouldn't say Shaq's a slob, but I mean, I do love that. And King Shea Solomon, I do have Duncan one slot above Hakeem at 4. Okay, but I have them pretty neck and neck. Obviously, I think that Duncan has the slightly better resume. But just moving on, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit with Hakeem, right? Now this is also why that won't necessarily show up in the box score, okay? But if you dig a little deeper into Hakeem's career, Hakeem guided his team, the Rockets, right, in 94-95, through what is widely regarded as one of the most difficult runs in postseason history on the way to a title. In 95, the Rockets won the title. We're running a gauntlet. All 4 of their opponents had at least 50 wins, while the Jazz and Spurs both had 60 plus. Also, those opponents combined to form the highest SRS for a postseason run ever at 28.45. What's more, the Rockets became the first and only team to win a title while defeating 4 50-plus win teams while not having home court advantage in any of those series. Road dogs in all of them against the best of the best. In the 2 years before he joined the Rockets, the club was averaging 15th in defensive rating while also finishing 19th the year before. During his tenure, the Rockets finished top 5 in that stat 8 times, top 10 12 times. How often do we say it's a one-man show on either the offensive or defensive end when we see that kind of impact, right? Really, the only example that comes to mind are, let's say, David Robinson, 90 Spurs, Russell and his effect on the Celtics defense, Tim Duncan. These were the immediate and immeasurable difference makers on impact. Now, obviously, no one's saying that these guys, we're not like other channels, right? We're not going to say these guys operated alone or had no help. But there's often times where you can see some players were the missing piece or the last piece of, just a juggernaut waiting to happen, right? Now, for example, Bill Russell was added to the worst defensive team in the league in 1957. That team didn't finish first in defensive rating for 11 straight years. So it was with Hakeem to a degree. When he joined the Rockets, immediately became a defensive powerhouse. In fact, the only time Hakeem had a teammate join him in an all-defensive team was when Rodney McRae did it in 87 and 88, and that was second team, okay? Still the only player to win back-to-back titles without a fellow All-Star. So now we can talk a little bit more about his accolades, but these are all things that is common knowledge, but you'll never hear them put up on the opposite side of the let's bash Hakeem moment, okay? But I'm with you, Ro. I think that in overall, it is a ridiculous. I don't know why I was muted there, but I would say I'm with you here, Ro, where we're looking at why this is happening. And we all know it's really just to be in an effort to have to really just go at Michael Jordan. And I'm not saying like we know it's narrowed down to a few people, a few channels who really make that their bread and butter.
Provocative. Some people want to be provocative. Can you hear me? Well, I know the Wi-Fi where I'm at is a little.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I think some.
You're cutting out a little bit, bro. Broseph. Well, bro, you are down a little bit here. No, I'm not sure if that's where your connection is, but let me know when you get it back. Okay. But let's go to some of the comments here and see what people are checking in with. Good comment from Woodich here. Duncan has a longevity, but Hakeem seemed more explosive from 85 to 87. Hakeem was done. That's actually a great comment, Woodich, and I agree 100% with that. I think Hakeem had a better peak. But often, obviously, you see Duncan had the consistency, right? Like he was actually still anchoring defenses well into his 30s. I think he was robbed of DPOY in 2013 when he was like 37. And I think that, he was, but very, very similar trajectory. Obviously, I think Hakeem had a more polished offensive, but both incredible players, both top five to me. And the top five players, you can interchange them, put them whatever spot you want to me. I don't really care. Again, they're the cream of the crop. Okay. But that being said, these are a lot of reasons why Hakeem is indisputably, to me, at least a top five player. Like, if you want to say he's overrated, if you see someone put him above mainstays like Mike or Kareem, whatever. But we've broken down. They're just attacking like guys like Hakeem's not the only one. They attack Robinson. They go at Shaq all the time. Obviously, they'll talk about how guys who got lost on the sauce like Glenn Rice, Mitch Richmond, all these people. Patrick Ewing's been taking it, right? Just because they think that throwing the names out there and all these guys didn't win rings, all alone, right? They think that somehow diminishes Jordan's legacy. They don't take the time to appreciate how great these actual players were as players, as basketball players, right? It's always just a way to try and get a mic. They don't want to talk about appreciate it for what it was, right? Some of the wars, some of the battles. All right.
Hey, Trav, I go on these TikTok streets, right? This morning, somebody, again, they wanted to bring up the Joel Embiid versus Patrick Ewing thing, and I said, "What?" The guy asked, "What did Patrick Ewing do on the basketball court that Joel Embiid could?" Right? And Joel Embiid peaked at 22. You hear me?
He stayed on the court.
Yeah, that's where I went. But then, even if we take durability out of the equation, right? Even if we take durability out of the equation, Patrick Ewing blocked 4 shots a game in the season. He had another season blocking 3.7. Joel Embiid's high is 2.7, I believe, in his rookie year, and he goes down from there. So if you right off the bat, shot blocking, right off the bat, actually bringing that dominance to the playoff. Patrick Ewing did that. And again, this is the idea that a lot of these guys, they don't want to be honest about how good a Patrick Ewing was, how good an Hakeem Olajuwon was. They don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's to just diminish 90s players. And I think guys who peaked in the 90s have to be diminished somehow instead of really sitting there and thinking, well, how good are they? Well, look at these numbers. Oh, yeah. wow, this guy blocked 4 shots a game. Patrick Ewing and Akeem Olajuwon absolutely were wrecking balls of shot blockers in that 94 finals. Like, it was a defensive struggle, and one averaged 3.8 blocks, the other averaged 4.3 blocks. Imagine.
Ridiculous. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Ewing was a top 5
Yeah,
defensive
so I
center
mean,
of
you
all
know,
time.
yeah, that's what it is.
No, absolutely, guys. And yeah, no,
Yes,
like I
and
mentioned,
you know, when I debated Dart about that, you know, I kind of wanted that to be, you know, there was, yeah, a lot of love. Again, as I said, and yes, 3 years the Knicks no time outside the top 5. I think they was 6 once in defensive rating. Yet, if it's effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, defense, they were like
you're cutting out a little bit, man. I'm not sure if it's where you are right now.
second or
Yeah, you're definitely cutting out.
third, and then
All right. Well, you are cutting off. So we're
that,
gonna, yeah, dude. Too. We're
season,
gonna
and
continue
the
on.
one season.
Oh, yeah. So we lost him altogether. Hopefully get him back. I just think he's in a bad area right now, guys, or whatever. I don't think he's that. But either way, Dakota says Ewing is scary. Yeah, Ewing was scary, right? He anchored those great Knicks defenses of the night. Like, what are we talking about? 93, right? 93 Knicks are still the only team ever to have 3 players finish top 5 in DPOY voting in the same season, right? Like, we know that. So, and then we said, Dakota never has been the biggest Shaq fan, have you? And I'm with you there. Like, dominance was a bit exaggerated. I mean, I have Shaq at number, what did I say? I think I have Shaq at 6 all time. If that's a little high, tell me. But I think Shaq, I mean, dominance as far as winning championships from the drop, sure, if you want to say that, right? But I mean, Shaq was putting up league best or whatever numbers from the drop, right? Scoring, rebounds. He led the league in overall field goal percentage 10 times. I mean, if you're talking about just the ring count, 100% sure, right? But I mean, nobody could really stop Shaq, right? Nobody could really check him. Hakeem couldn't. I mean, he was giving every good center the business. Yeah, I think it just depends. I don't necessarily disagree with you, and I've heard some people overrate Shaq to some degree, like when they say that he completely carried Kobe during those run, things like that, right? You can say that, and that's just stupid. But I think Shaq, if anything, is looked down on for the wrong reasons. But just like Hakeem, right? But with all that going on, Roe is back to. Hey man, how's it going? You get it all settled out?
Yeah. Do I sound well? Because I'm at my destination now. Do I sound good? Because
Yeah, you sound better now.
do I sound? All right. Cool. That's a relief because yeah, I got to my party destination and yeah, there's no Wi-Fi over here, so I'm using the yeah, it was today. But yeah, no, I was saying like yeah, there's this agenda to like down 90s players and down 90s teams and 90s teams are not good or whatever. 90s players are not good. They don't realize how good Barkley was, Malone, all these guys who are winning MVPs. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they the Shaq.
Drifting out a little bit. Ro, not sure if lost the connection again. But We'll get your take there, Ro. I was gonna ask you, Ro, if you can hear me again when you come back. But and I think that's a great way that we've just debunked.
I heard the Shaq and Penny team couldn't play.
Okay. Still drifting in and out there a little bit, Ro. We'll see if you're inside, if it improves. But yeah, there's a lot of. I was going to ask you if you have your own quick topic that we want to debunk as well. We're trying to do a little bit, but can you hear me?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, yeah, there's the agenda to down everything 90s. That whole we're done with the 90s grift. That's what that's all about, and it really doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold water, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, are you ready to get into my thing that I need to debunk?
Yeah, go right ahead, man. What do you have for us today?
The existence of super teams. And my thing is, and here's the thing. Here's my angle. I believe, and you know, me and CW. You probably heard me and CW both say this before.
Mm-hmm.
We don't believe super teams exist, right? And here's like the idea of a super team, right? Is you take a bunch of primary scorers, you throw them on a team, and you try to you try to go instantly compete for a title, right? That's what the idea of a super team is. But see, what happens is now we have a million of these debates where this is a super team. Oh no, this wasn't a super team. Oh, that wasn't a super team. Oh, this guy, they had to, you know. Okay, let's look at it this way. A lot of times people say if 3 20-point scorers in their prime on the same team, that's a super team, right? So by that token, then the 1987 Seattle Supersonics, right? A 39-43 win team. They were 39-43. They got to the conference finals. They lost to the Magic and the Lakers. They were 39-43. But you know who the 3 best players on that team? Tom Chambers, Dale Ellis, and Xavier McDaniel, each scoring 23 points a game, 24 points a game. Is that a super team?
Those are the 3 best players of all time.
I mean, you know, but by that token, Art, was that a super team? Dale Ellis could lead the team in scoring. So could X-Man and so could Tom Chambers. You see, it's like a team. I said, what y'all think are super teams are just super teams, meaning they're just great teams. Mm-hmm. And what happens is sometimes these super teams are attempted, but they're poorly constructed. They're missing a lot of other elements that make a team. This is why when they want to ask, was the Paul Pierce, you know, Kevin Garnett. And then again, I understand it was a team thrown together one season, and they went from average team that maybe gets to the conference to the second round or whatever. I don't know what they did before Paul Pierce, right? They probably missed the playoffs in 07. I can't even remember. I know they did get to a couple of conference finals versus the Nets. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that was a team that kind of got put together by Danny Ainge, instantly had success. Great. But now then they start to ask, was the Larry Bird Celtics super teams? I mean, they were together for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, Kevin McHale never led his own team. Robert Parrish, when he was with Golden State, was viewed as a lazy player. Like, he was a lazy player on a bad team. So when they got together, right, they won in 81. I mean, they won in 81, right? And they had their run of dominance. 80, they won again in 83, or 84, and they won again in 86. Yeah. But, like, they were a super team. They were a well-constructed team that built together over 4 or 5 years. And the idea that we have to then use that as a disqualifier. This is what happens. You're on a quote unquote super team, which is the goal, right? The goal is to be the best team you can possibly be. And now we disqualify somebody's resume because he won, but it was a super team. Isn't the goal to be the best team in a given year? So now what you're trying to do is disqualify a player because his team was too good, which is literally the stupidest talking point you can have in a player debate or a one-on-one debate. And that's why I maintain and I try to debunk the existence of super team. Because now what do? The 96 Bulls were a super team. Explain to me how.
87 Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, explain to me. Or the 2000 Lakers or one Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
How are they a super team? How are they a super? See, I get it, right? You take the concept of super team based on, and this is why I say, mind you, I'm the guy that's very consistent and don't believe that even the 11 Heat, the 10 Heat, the 11, 12, 13 Heat, I don't believe they're super team because I don't believe in the existence of super team. So guess what? Guess what? I don't believe the 17 Warriors were super team. They damn sure won a super team in 16. They added Kevin Durant. You know why they added Kevin Durant? Because they had $29 million in cap space in that offseason. Steph was under the contract. Draymond was under contract. Clay was under contract. Iguodala was under contract. Their whole core was under contract, and they had $29 million to spend. What did they do? They spent it on the best player available. If Kevin Durant decided not to come to the Golden State Warriors, guess what, Travis? They still would have had $29 million to spend. So maybe they get another 2 quality players. So they still would have been a great team.
They're still a 70-win team like the year before.
Yes. You add $29 million in spending money to a 79-win team. They just happen to spend it on the second or best or arguably best player in the game at that time.
Yeah.
Great. But that's what I'm saying. There is no such thing as a super team. If you put together the roster under the rules that the rules allow, the idea is to be the best team possible, right?
Eric Up Curious says 2011 Heat was a super team. What do you think about that, Ron?
Yeah, there's no super team. They don't exist. Hey, what's Stevie saying? The 11 Heat? No, see, I don't believe in super teams at all. Again, the Heat formed under the rules allowed. Now, the collusion of the idea that Riley traded the guy he just made the second pick in Beasley a couple of years ago, right? He traded him to Minnesota to get that cap space to be able to afford the 2 max salaries. That's something that is debatable. But guess what? The league did not punish them for it. The league did not catch it. There's no proof that he had collusion of knowing that LeBron James was going to come. But again, he traded Beasley away, who was the second pick, who was still, they thought he could be Dwayne Wade's number 2, and they wound up putting the team together. They had the cap space. They had the 2 max salary slots. The guys took a little bit less to let other role players come onto the team, and they built up. I don't believe in the existence of a super team because guess what? They got beat by a non-super team. So yeah, even you know what I'm saying, Trav? Even the idea that super team, super team. We've seen a quote unquote what you guys believe are super teams not even make the playoffs. 2023. You know what the 2022. I mean, 2022 Lakers. Yes. You know what the narrative needs to be? That Russell Westbrook was washed, despite the fact in 2021 the guy goes for rounding up, of course, 22, 12, and 12. How could a player be washed who averaged 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists?
I think you're 100% right, man. I mean, I think that there are teams which, when you start, I don't even the season right or whatever, I think there are teams which you can clearly say on paper are way better. When you just look at it from a roster perspective, I don't think any team's unbeatable. Like you said, like we talked about 2011. Of course, that team got beat by the team they were heavily favored. Obviously, they matched up well, but they lost. No team's unbeatable. I mean, Lakers lost in 03, right, with basically the same core. I think the super team narrative is pushed a little too hard just to try to, I think, debunk certain players. But
Bingo.
Yeah.
And when you get to the fact, when you get over the fact that super teams don't exist, they're either a well-constructed team or they're not well-constructed team. They're either a team that, because we've seen this, we've seen teams that tried to stack talent and they were poorly constructed. The 2021-22 Lakers being one of them, right? They were poorly constructed teams with top-heavy talent. Again, it's the salary cap era and everything.
I will say LeBron was a coward for doing that, though.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I sit there I don't use it for me personally. I don't use it in debate because if I use it against LeBron, then I got to use it against KD, and I just don't.
I never
what?
use it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like as a free agent, you have the right to do what you want. You can either here's my thing. What if KD would taken less to go to the Detroit Pistons or a team? You know what I'm saying? No. What if would he took the money and just went to the Detroit Pistons? Would that have been better? No, it would have been stupid. Like, why would you leave OKC and Russell Westbrook to go to the Detroit Pistons? But if he would have taken $4 million, he would take $4 million in the prime of his career because Golden State didn't have the cap space. Because that's what the idea was, that maybe because even though Cleveland was way all over the cap, that he could have taken their that veteran minimum and joined LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Well, if he'd have done that, that would have been his choice, but that also would have been a stupid choice, in my opinion. So what did he do? He went to the best team available who had the money to spend. Can I kill him for doing that? It makes no sense. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Say again?
He went to the
team. I get it. If you can't beat him, but wait a minute. I'm going to say LeBron did the same thing. They went to he didn't go to the team that beat him, but he went to another guy's team. So that's what I'm saying. It's now where the level of, well, he did this and that's not the same, bro. Like his thing. Do what you want. Super teams don't exist. Go to the best team, build the team. Because again, you know what? Part of the situation was him going to Golden State was just a match made in heaven.
No, I agree. Obviously, that team maybe the best of all time, right?
I mean, well, possibly. I still think there were teams that could have watched them. It's funny, they were the best of all time, unbeatable. Yet James Harden had them down 13 at halftime in a game 7. So I mean, this is what I'm saying. Super teams don't exist. It's just are you an unbeatable team? Great, okay. So you can't. The Bulls were unbeatable in their year. Is that a knock on Jordan, or is that a credit to Jordan? Oh,
credit to Jordan. Thank you. Dakota says they literally teamed up to stop Kobe. Hey, you can make that argument. Wade said that basically. Right.
Yeah, it's like then we want to knock a great player, because this is the debate I had yesterday in Discord. As I said, a great player's job is to make a team great. It's to be on a great collection of talent and be great with that collection of talent, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I knock LeBron James is he did have, from if you're going to look at super teams the way you look at it, you got AD, you got Westbrook. Now, of course, now the narrative has to be Westbrook was washed, he didn't fit, and AD was injured. Well, okay. And in the games you and AD were healthy, you were 11-11. So you see, you were 11-11, and so you were it was just a bad team. It was a bad collection of players. Like, you attempted a super team, but it was a poorly constructed team. So my thing is, what I'm going to judge a player is when you get the help. Remember, we always talk about what help is, right? When you get the help, what do you do with quote unquote help? What do you do with set help? Sometimes you're great, sometimes you're unbeatable. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, it's not fair. No, it's not. No. Your job is to be a great team. If you're a great player, become a great team.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%, and that's also why I don't use like we talked about obviously at length, like stuff like Magic Johnson. And a good point you always make is that, yeah, he went to a team that was, constructed great with great players already, but with him on there, it's not like they choked and they stopped. They were just mediocre. They were the best team in the league, right? Throughout the majority of that decade, and that was you doing what you were supposed to do with the talent at hand, right? Like, not the case with like we mentioned, 2011 Heat choked. They won 2 more, sure, but that's after they made some improvements, like getting guys like Ray Allen, getting guys like Sean Battier, not choking in the playoff, things like that. But a lot of, 100%. I think that teams, unless I see the '92 Dream Team go out there or the 2008, though, just a roster which is top to bottom the best ever. Whatever. Teams can lose, teams can choke, just like we see here in the comments, right? Timothy says super teams can choke. I agree completely, right? No team's unbeatable. You have flaws. Obviously, there have been stacked teams. No one's saying there have not been stacked teams which should rightly and were favored to win it all. like the 80 Celtics, 87 Lakers, obviously Bulls, roster, all the like we can point to different teams, and a lot of these teams have had great success. But it's just I don't think there's been a time where a team has ever been just they are not you cannot beat them. All right, hell, we're not even talking about the 60 Celtics, right? Maybe the one true super team in history with like top and bottom Hall of Fame, but it's all opinion at the end of the day. That's actually a great. Oh, and we got people pulling up here. Let me go ahead and drop that link for you. Viz in the building here. Shout out to Viz. Shout out to everyone in our chat here today. Thanks for pulling up and giving us some time of day. Hope you've received some good information so far. And again, just like we talked about, guys, the two topics today have been the debunk of Hakeem being overrated. Again, by people who want to again glaze this era, no other areas. They want to tear down these eras, tear down these players to prop up players today, right? For no reason. They don't have to do that, but we've put that to bed. And we'll continue to do that. And also the existence of super teams. Are they not? Or are they here? Or are they not? Rose says no. And let's see some of these questions here. Helly says, I think I missed one. Helly says, Travis, why do you have LeBron as the GOAT? So personally, Helly, I have LeBron as the GOAT because I think his resume and combined with his continued dominance just does it for me. Like he's top 5, like he's top 3 all time in Finals MVPs, right? He's top 5 all time in regular season MVPs. He has the most All NBA teams of all time. He does have the 6 All Defensive awards, right? He has the most alternate. Like he has his analytics are second only to Mike and Giannis, or not Giannis, but Joker, obviously, right? So in every single box you can check, right? He's up there with the greats, and also to me, his not longevity, but his dominance, right? Not just he hasn't just played for a long time. He's played at a top 5 to 10 level basically his whole career. If you want to say he hasn't been top 10 for the last couple of years, I don't have a problem with that. But his numbers are really that. Yes, there was a dip in the scoring last year for various reasons. I'm not making excuses for him. And no, I don't like everything LeBron does, right? I freaking don't. I don't like, I think he flops a lot. I think he makes excuses for it. I think, he's kind of a diva sometimes. But just going by the numbers and the pedigree, I think that, especially when you're just looking at what is he doing on the court every day, he's up there with the league leaders at this age. He really hasn't taken a break or missed any significant time off due to injury, except for like 2019. You can argue this year. But just personally, when I cross-examine him with all the other players, his resume, as far as accolades and achievements, stacks up with just about anyone. And then you add, to me, the breadth of his playing career. Obviously, if we're talking totals, it's really not going to be close when he retires. To me, that just pushes him over the edge. But if someone says to me, hey, I have Kareem over him or Jordan or anyone else, I'm not mad. To me, those 3 guys are interchangeable, whatever. And like, hey, I'm getting feedback already. Dominance means number 1. Sure. He does not stack up at all. Hey, unlike other shows, guys, I invite you to say these things, define it, justify it, back it up. Like I said, I respect every opinion, right? And if you don't think it was, great. I'm not going to attack you or call you casual. That's actually just my take on it, right? And I give respect to every other, opinion, especially if it's backed up with context and whatnot. Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm never going to disrespect anyone who doesn't have LeBron as a GOAT. In fact, I didn't used to. I just kind of changed my mind over time. But
yeah, I appreciate that when you were part of the Go Jays Kingdom. Now look, they're doing their show. I don't want to give them false promotion or whatever, but they're doing a show based on what Stephen A. Smith said, right? How LeBron James is hanging around to add to his resume because he doesn't have the rings and he doesn't have the success. And see, here's my thing, right? Now the same way, and I want people to understand this about me. I'm fair, right? Because when I tell you super teams don't exist and LeBron can go to any team, he can put every all-star on. He can basically have half of the all-star West on his team. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to judge you by now is what do you do with that? Fact. Now, Stephen A. said these guys are hanging around because he doesn't have Kobe in the rings. He doesn't have MJ in the rings or the MVPs, and now he's sticking around to get counting stats. But see, one of the things that I tell you now, the same way that I don't fault you for stacking your team, and you winning. What happens when you stack your team and lose? As I said, as I asked many people, if they get knocked out in the first round like they did last year, is this a blight on his resume? You played with Luka Doncic in his prime, the second all-time leading scorer in playoff history, and you lost in 5 to a team that on Saturday they were in the play-in at 7 seed. On Sunday they get the 6 seed. Now, yes, I know they won damn near 50 games themselves, but the Minnesota Timberwolves were a team that struggled throughout the season. You are the GOAT, and they tell you you're top 10 because then this is what happens. Well, he's 40. He's 40. What can you expect? But he's 40. Unlike MJ wasn't playing with the second all-time leading scorer. He was the all-time leading scorer himself, but he was 40. Obviously, a diminished version of himself. He didn't have another guy on his team. It was the all-time leading scorer. So my point is, right? You get a super. And I'm not calling Lakers by any means last year's super team. Even with Austin Reed having his quantum leap that he's having this year, right? I'm not. But what I'm saying is, what I do when you do have considerable help and you fall short of expectations, and this is where I wanted Feely and all the guys when you were with the Go Chance Kingdom crew to realize that yes, I start docking LeBron the same way I'm fair enough to say I don't give a fuck that he's on a super team. Whatever you want to call it. He can have Dwayne Wade and Dwayne Wade's son, and he can have Chris Bosh, and they put Greg Oden and Rashard Lewis, a number one overall pick and an all-star, right? They tried to make a reclamation process out of Greg Oden, right? They ain't bad at it. They added a lot of Ray Allen. Oh, these guys were washed, but guess what? They were in roles. So my thing is, no matter how much you stack your team, I now have to judge you based on the expectations. And if a team has expectations and falls short of them, then this is when I make the Magic, like when I was making the Magic thing, right? Magic came into a great situation, great, but they always were contenders. Even in the second year when they got knocked out in the first round, he had the issue with Paul Westhead, and Paul Westhead got fired directly after that, right? Yeah, they were always in the picture. So my deal is like, yes, when you get the help, because, that's the idea, right? Oh, he didn't have help at the beginning of his career. We understand that. But when you get the help, now I have to judge you on what you do once you have the help. And that's where I start docking LeBron, and this is where I shuffle him behind Larry Bird. This is where I shuffle him behind a Kobe. Because, yes, Kobe got rid of Shaq, right? And had to suffer that one non-playoff year. Got back to the playoffs, out in the first round. He got out in the first round twice, right? Then he gets Gasol. Now he's back to the final. At that point, this is how I'm judging all-time great players. Is it's like, you get the help. What do you do with it? Now here's the narrative, right? Pau Gasol. How good was Pau Gasol? Well, he was the best power forward. Hey, shout out to Juan Boy. He was the best power forward in the game. I have not got a chance to talk to Juan Boy in a non. Juan Boy, do you have Pau Gasol one of the top 10 power forwards of all time? Or,
No,
if not, where do you rank him? Because you seem to need Pau Gasol to be ranked higher than he actually is. I don't think Pau Gasol in any season was better than Dirk. Maybe it got to a point where he was better than Duncan as Duncan got older, but I don't think he was better than Dirk or Kevin Garnett. So, where are you ranking him, guy? But this is the idea, right?
Yeah.
This is the idea. What we're doing, that's what I'm saying. This is why the super team thing, man. Just look at how well a team is constructed. Because what I start to do is now the team was too good. No, I'm going to. This is the saving grace for Will, right? When I look at Will, and then Will is my number 2, he has 138, 30 game. I understand the pace and the error and all of that. I get it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has 2. So, the statistical, when I make my Will case, the statistical dominance just a Herculean stat. Like it's just it looks like the
But
guy is not
drop the
human.
link on your channel if you can. Do you just I'm worried not everyone's seeing it.
Oh yeah, my bad. Let me see.
Yeah,
I should do
watch
that.
it pop up here.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, I do that, and then what's because everybody say Wilf's a loser, right?
Mm-hmm.
The saving grace is he has a 68-13 and a 69-13, 2 teams that won the championship in dominant fashion. So you can't say he's a loser, because if he's a loser, he would have never been on those teams. He would have never contributed the way he did to those 2 dominant teams, who I think are 2 of the top at least 10 teams of all time. You can't tell me a team that won 33 straight games in a league that had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his Bucks and the Knicks and the Celtics. You can't tell me that those teams that a team that did that was not dominant on one of the greatest teams of all time. Am I correct?
Correct, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, the super teams don't exist, guys. Like, don't. If you ever argue with me, I'm going to tell you super teams don't exist. And then if I do say, oh, that was a super team, I'm going to look at it as this is what you think is a super team. And guess what? Okay, it's a super team. You win or not. That's all that matters.
I mean, hey, and you heard it here, guys. Like this, I actually tend to agree with that a little bit on the road. It's like, what are you doing? Obviously, it's not something. It's hard to. I think the only pushback I give that is hard to apply to every single player. But I think it's a valid fact. It's like when you're talking about what did you do with if you were in an advantageous situation, right? Like, what did you do with the best help? And yeah, I think that's a valid criticism of some of these players. Like, how are you performing with that help, along with that help? Like we did see Luka be just fine in the playoffs. LeBron was, wasn't really himself. I don't think it was all him. I mean, I think there's a number of things that went wrong with that series. But hey, we go from here. And
Eric Carrier, I don't want to before Eric Carrier. What do you think the 73 Knicks were? DeBusschere, Reed, Monroe, Frazier. Who else on the team? Phil Jackson, Bradley. I think that was one of the greatest super teams of all time. If you want to talk about super teams, you got how many Hall of Famers on my team?
He says you're a Knicks fan. You don't think about super teams.
Yeah. I mean, what is 73 Knicks team? Hey, we can't win unless we get a stacked team. And honestly, that's what I think about this Knicks team. I think we got like 5 or 6 really good players, and I think that's how the Knicks have had to build. I'm
sad at Craft Gear. I've worked so hard at Craft Gear to like get you specifically to say that I'm not a LeBron stan, right? I'm not even a LeBron fan. Like he's not even my favorite. He's not even my top 10 favorite players of all time, bro. Like I love Kobe way more. I mean, like Kobe, all these guys, right? Like I just have them ranked where I have them ranked, but that makes me sad, man. I'll try and do better next time. But hey, we got one of my new favorite content creators that I recently discovered because he's been doing the Lord's work, Armani.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Shout out.
Hey, Ben. What's good, Ben?
What's up, bro? How you doing, brother? Good afternoon.
Chilling, man. We just trying to make some good, smart content over here, bro. We're not trying to appeal to the dummies, bro. We over here smart corner YouTube.
I mean, I don't want no trouble today on everybody's stream, dog. I'm trying.
I got your message, and I got your message.
I'm trying to get back to normalcy now. You know what I mean, and rub it in people's faces as I go. But you know what I mean.
I heard the family was catching strays, bro. You know me. I handle it the way I handle it, bro. You know what? I handle it with class. I'll just go over there and eat them. Matter of fact, when we get off of here, I'll try to see if I can. Right now, I'm at another. Listen, we barbecue all the fucking time down here in Brazil, bro. So we got once I get off of that, then I'll see if I pull up over there at Throat James and drop some dollars.
I actually got a video dropping on the topic, which is crazy about what y'all talking about today.
Keep your foot on their necks, bro. Keep your foot on their necks, man.
No, it's not even about them. Actually, it's about the guy Dub Nation. Actually, what y'all talking about is going to line up perfectly to what y'all talking about as far as like the super teams and you know, how all of them. Well, the video is kind of about like how all super teams aren't the same, because you know a lot of people like the group that Warriors team and that Miami Heat team, which I think that, in my opinion, that Miami Heat team is probably like the one of one if you talk about how they constructed, because most of that Warriors team was more organically built through the draft than just bringing established player over. They just added what, KD. You know what I'm saying?
They had cap space. KD was available.
Yeah.
KD signed. Like I said,
Then
if
you'll
KD
have
doesn't
some
come
people
over
get
there.
picked.
Yeah, if KD doesn't sign, I mean, I'm trying to think who else in that free agent class. They probably get two guys for $15 million apiece, and they make the team better that way. They still were going to be a great team regardless.
Yeah.
You know, they were a great team, and then they had 29. You take a 73 win team, you give them $29 million to spend in the offseason.
Yep.
What? It's going to be unfair. Travis. Let me. Somebody's, and this is what I should have put as my what's the name, but it's okay. I'll probably try to re-edit. OKC is unfair. Biz, Travis, is that not the most bullshit statement of all time? They said OKC is unfair. No. They're very fair. They're very fair. They 20 months ago, 90% of OKC roster, nobody knew who the hell. Like Lou, I might have known who Lou Dort was. I didn't even know I didn't know which J Dub was the guy averaging 20 before last season.
I knew who they was because I've been following them since that trade, since the CP3 year. I was rocking with them because I had them beating the Rockets that year. So I've been rocking with them for a minute, man. When I began, but I always betted on SGA. He used to SGA used to be folded on them parlays 2021, 2022, but he been good after that. So I've been following him for years, and they're gonna be formidable. Only team I feel like that's gonna be able to get them comp moving forward is the Detroit Pistons, which I've been trying to tell you about, Ro. I remember I was telling you about the Cade Cunningham being an MVP caliber player. The Pistons is going to be the only team I feel like that's going to get them a run their money, but they still need like another piece. They still need like another guy that could be, because they right now that OKC team really got no real weaknesses. They're going to have to pray, God forbid, an injury to SGA to be able to stop them, because he's like the superstar and the glue guy at the same time. He like the perfect player, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
what happened to Rome? No, I agree with you, Viz. Like that's like you're right. Like months and months ago, like no one was like, "Oh, that seems unfair with Chet Holmgren and Jason and Jalen Williams." But like,
that's what people were saying.
Like I heard all these narratives. Like it was on all the talking heads, right? Like even some of their own sportscasts. But like that team gelled, right? They gathered chemistry. Like they went through the wars and then they coalesced last year, right? Even they were good, but now they're just like they're hitting their stride. SGA is obviously transcendent. You got great. I thought the Alex Caruso trade was underrated.
I thought that was a championship move when they got it.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought that once they added Caruso, I'm like, because they needed a player like that versus the Mavericks.
Yes,
they needed a player versus the Mavericks, and that piece right there. You see how Caruso, just the little shit he do, the fact that he was able to make Joker just work a little bit more, and then be able to rotate out to the three all in one motion. Man, that was a very underrated piece. Probably one of the most clutchest moves.
Yeah, and they all play hard defensively too. They play hard. They don't say, "Hey, we're 16-1 or whatever. Let's take the night off." Like you have to beat them.
They remind me of, but a little bit better defensively. You remember that? Just regular season wise. I'm not saying that. Then you remember how perfect that. What was that? The 2022 Phoenix Suns was?
Yeah.
Where it was literally like, dog, who is going to beat these guys? They went like 9-10 deep, no flaws nowhere. You got the defender and Jay Crowder. You got Mikal Bridges right there. You got A.N. You got Book. You got CP. Then off the bench, you got Cam Johnson. Who else did they have off the bench? They had a couple other guys. I can't remember. That team had no weaknesses or whatnot. That's what that team remind me of. But this team is just way better defensive, dog. You cannot score on this OKC team at all. You can't. And they never down. They never did. If you got them up by 20, you could be up by 30, which we seen last year. You can't count them out, dog.
No, absolutely. I'm like, what's crazy is like there are like the West is like it's not wide open. Like there's a war zone happening right now, right? Like you have The Nuggets are playing really good ball. There's some injuries there, but like you have, I think the Rockets are probably better than at least I thought they would be. But I mean, I think the Rockets are really going to be a problem. But OKC, I thought they looked better than last year if that was even possible. It's crazy.
I think the West is. I think the West is locked down. I don't think it's wide open.
No.
I don't think it's wide open. I'll probably say the only team. I don't believe in the Rockets at all. I don't believe in the Rockets at all. I think if the Rockets face the Suns in the playoff series, I'm gonna root for the Suns. I think the Wolves is nothing. I think the only real team out the West is probably Denver.
Yeah, I think that's
the only team that can really get them.
Yeah,
that's the only team. I don't think there's no team, and maybe if Portland Trailblazers, because they got a lot of youth on that squad, but I don't think they're really ready yet. But I do see. I watched like 4 Portland Trailblazers games. They need to be on TV more. They really fun to watch, in my opinion. But they not ready. You get them like 1 or 2 more years, and they get like a breakout. Either Shaden Sharp breaks out even more, which I don't really. I think he kind of reaching his limit in my opinion, but maybe I can be wrong. And maybe if Scoot Henderson could be something. But they got a good squad, I think, in the future we're going to have to watch out for. But right now, I don't really see. The only team I really see somebody beating them is the Nuggets and probably the Pistons. And that's probably it.
Yeah. I mean, the records are what they are right now, right? Like, I think I'm very surprised the Suns are playing as well as they are. I think it was I would have said it was a terrible trade, but let me get your take on this real fast on our did you catch the Hakeem segment by any chance?
No, I didn't. I just pulled up. I didn't even I forgot y'all was going live. When I pulled up, I said, "Oh shit, let me jump up in here," because I remember y'all was telling me I was going live. No, I didn't catch it. But you can give me a skim because it's probably some shit I was saying yesterday anyway.
Yeah, for sure. It was one thing I like because when I saw what you were doing yesterday, that was actually something because I saw him do that original show, Lamont, and then I was like, okay, I have to debunk that. So I debunked it like the next because when I was still on GGK, I debunked that live in real time because and so anyway, I was like just talking today about pulled up my own notes. I'm like Hakeem's actual resume. If you're just like cutting the BS, like you talked about yesterday, like you heard him say, "Oh, I don't think he's a good player," or he he left in the first round a few times, and he was using that crap right to try and diminish the team. Obviously, in the overall goal to try and boost up LeBron, right, by proxy, and knock Mike down. But I just explained like Hakeem absolutely has a top 10 resume,
but without a doubt. This what without hold on. So he think that he don't have a resume. Now I hear what he's saying. I hear him do the shit that he do, but it's just like with me with LeBron. I can still talk about LeBron and still acknowledge like his accolades and stuff like that, even though I don't think he's like great as everybody else see him as. What did he say exactly? He said Hakeem's resume is not even good too?
Yeah, so if you go on to like listen, I think it's a little bit deeper on there. He'll talk about he's overrated to the point where like he'll be like, oh, he's like he gets into his what is it his personal criteria where he's like, I think MVPs are super important, blah blah blah, and he'll just get into where he'll discount his competition, he'll discount exactly who he was going against, things like that, just anything to kind of knock him down, but with no context. And obviously it's pretty used to it from that guy, but you'll never hear is like you'll never hear about how Hakeem turned that into one of the best defensive teams going forward during his tenure. You'll never hear about how he the gauntlet they had to face when they were winning titles. But it's not just Hakeem, right? Like we see these guys do these shocks, right? Do this all the time to try and. I didn't want to just talk about how great certain players were. They're like, we have to trash these players because we're only here for LeBron James, basically. So
wow. I know he said some stuff about that, but to say I didn't really catch because the only thing I know he normally says is Kobe's not top 10. So I never caught him saying that, but I know he downplayed him a lot because I did a video on that, and I heard Rogue tells me about this infamous he's better than Rudy Gobert thing. That's just. Rudy Gobert is better than him, and it's just like I literally need to hunt that clip down. But I watch so much of this stuff when I'm doing like what I do. I get overwhelmed, just like, man, how much shit? Because I gotta watch 2 hours of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So most of the time, it's easy for me to do it when I'm at work because I'm not doing nothing but driving anyway. So it's good enough to just put them on and hear them talk, and while being pissed off while I'm listening to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But Hakeem resume, I mean, they and this is the thing I talk about. Now I know you got LeBron as to go, which I have no problem with. Like I said, I'm not here to persuade nobody with that. But you just it's good that you are that because you get to see it from both sides, and you can see that normally he and his underboss wants you to just appreciate LeBron for what he did, yet he don't apply that same rule for Hakeem.
Or any other players.
He does what they hate Jordan fans, quote unquote, doing with LeBron, and not just appreciate LeBron. Hakeem, in my opinion, has the most impressive championship that will never be topped. Well, it's possible, but you're going to need a lot of things to fall into play. You're going to need a lot of luck. You're going to need a dominant playoff run, a la Kawhi Leonard or and to do something that Hakeem did, he should just be praised on that alone. That 95 run. You beat Malone, 61 team in the first round, a 61 team in a best of 5 in the first round. You beat Charles Barkley in the round after that, a former MVP. You beat the MVP, a 61 team, and David Robinson in the Spurs, and then you beat Shaq and Penny.
Yeah.
That's that off of that alone. I'm not discrediting nothing off of that because nobody has did anything. The closest person to do something like that was Dirk Nowitzki, where he toppled that, but play like.
No, absolutely. I've always said the two hardest runs of all time were that 95 Rockets team and the,
no, 2011 Mavs. They played the Lakers.
Yeah.
Who did they play in that playoff?
I think they Portland. They played the
Portland,
Thunder,
because that's when Brandon Roy went off.
And then the Heat. Yeah, crazy.
They played Portland, Kobe, and who they played in the conference finals?
Didn't they play OKC? No.
I think it was.
Yeah, OKC and then the Heat. Yeah, right. Like they went through everyone.
Yeah, but that team, that run didn't have the players and the statures, the players that Hakeem went against. And to see what he did with a 6 seed win team, why would you even question that man's game and come at his game and his skill or whatnot, where your favorite player, your GOAT, has learned and enhanced his game from watching him play? Like the discrediting is sad over here because you got a top 5 center of all time, arguably top 5 center of all time, because there's a lot of great centers.
Yeah,
arguably a top 5 center of all time. A guy that didn't win without a super team. A guy, he tried to win with a super team, but we see, that debunks a lot of the super team stuff. The super teams don't automatically guarantee you a championship. You know what I mean? It can get you there, and in some cases, like LeBron, and when you got a prime super team, you got a guy that won the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, in the same year. So you got a guy that had a more dominant season than his guy, LeBron, and yet you discredit him for what? Like why? Like you got something you don't appreciate the guy doing something that your guy didn't do or most people can't do. What you say? My bad, G. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, and you're right. Like you'll never see these people sit down and do a show about that, about that run or appreciate it. It's if they do a show about it, they're only going to be like, well, let's talk about how terrible the 90s were or anything like that. It's and what's weird is up until this Go Debate thing or whatever got fire, I've never heard people would mention guys like Hakeem, like Ewing, if we're just talking about in the 90s, like Malone with reverence, they would talk about how great they were, how their numbers were great, what their attributes were. But now a lot of it, we try to still do that, obviously. But now it's just you talk about them. They talk about them with just, what, maybe they were overrated because they were next to Jordan and Jordan, and it's just so disingenuous. It's disgusting almost.
To play devil's advocate, I will say the social media, and I got to put it on the Jordan and Kobe fans too, because I'm a realist. Sure. Yeah, the Jordan and Kobe fans definitely, and I understand why, but it don't make it right. It don't make it right because they went after LeBron
Cut off for a second there. Okay.
Them going after LeBron made the LeBron fans rebel and just go at everybody. Because they're the only fan base I see tear down Bird, tear down Hakeem. I don't see Jordan fans do that. I don't see Kobe fans do that. If they're going to go at somebody, they're going to go at your guy and your guy only, or vice versa. They don't go at errors. Now, since when did we go at errors? That was something like the greats did, like the players did. They'll diss other errors, but when have us fans, we normally appreciated all errors. Now we got people dissing saying the 1900s is trash.
Yeah.
But you got these players in your top 5.
Mm-hmm.
We comparing errors and saying like, yeah, my favorite era, in my opinion, the best era of basketball, in my opinion, is the 2000s because you got everything. You got great elite one-on-one scoring. You got some of the best defense you'll ever see that you're never going to see again, and you felt the intensity of those 70 to 60 point, 80 to 75 games where it had you on the edge of your seat, like, oh, what's the next thing going to happen? But I don't go around here destroying this era. I love basketball, so I'm gonna like it in any form. Yeah, I'm gonna have my criticisms like I do with all eras. Like the defensive era was, I think sometimes it was too defensive, but I still liked it, especially in the fourth quarter. But the first 3 quarters, it was, a bunch of missed shots, a bunch of fouling. In the 90s, you got your reasons why you probably don't like the 90s. Your 80s, you got your reasons why. Your 2010s and your 2020s. But I'm not going to sit over here trash players. If you like the game, if you like the sport, you're going to like it in any form. Yeah, I mean, you probably had some dislikings of it, but the tear down players, no, I don't think that's right. But I do think the LeBron fans, the Kobe and Jordan fans, on to retaliate by, doing this, discrediting the players. And it's like, all right, now we're going to shit on your guy. It don't make it right, though.
No, I'm with you, man. Like, that's, I think that's actually perfectly kind of encapsulates that. It's like if you're an actual basketball fan, you can talk about any era and any player, and like you don't have to come at it from a negative standpoint. You can be like, hey, did you catch that game yesterday, Portland and San Antonio? Yeah, fantastic. We're not going to be like, hey, did you see how crap this guy was? And like, oh, yeah, he was garbage. That means, man, that means every player here sucks, and like this era is trash. Like that, you're right. That only comes from a position of you're only saying that because you want to prop up player A or above player B or whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
Like actual fan, like you want to talk about, you can talk about any era. Like I'm with you. The 2000s were my absolute favorite era because I think it was the best combination of like loaded teams, but also like you had the best personalities there. You had fantastic. That's when they cared about defense and they were trying night in, night out. You saw like the best compete against each other. And I mean, just kind of, I think there's still great things to love about the game, and like we can watch it and be appreciative, right?
Yeah.
Couple of questions here. Let's see. They're taking us here. And let's see. So Helly, I don't know. Craig, if you don't know, V's, Craig was another mainstay on GJK. He was kind of like the guy who would push back on their narratives, and he was a big Jordan guy. He has, I think, disappeared as of late. I have not talked to him, Helly, so I don't know.
They said he had to do a football thing.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, that's why he said he had been on there. I'll be lurking in there.
Yeah, no, hey, I should have asked.
Yeah, they said he had to do a football thing.
Kobe and Mike are superior on both sides of the ball. Hey,
I agree.
Best two-way players of all time.
And also, Aircraft, I do agree. Like, I have him top 5. I'm just being objective, saying arguably because, other people will have other centers or whatnot. But I personally, have him top 5.
Yeah.
Which is no. Yeah. I do based on what he got. But, there are other centers I think are better. I think, in my opinion, David Robinson is probably the most complete center of all time, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong with that. I just think with the skill level, the ball handling, the defense, the shot making, he ain't really had too many weaknesses. He was pretty robotic when it came to the playoff times, but like he had everything that you need a center can have. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hakeem did too. I just prefer David Robinson style over Hakeem. But them two are the most complete centers of all time, in my opinion.
I love D-Rob. D-Rob, I think, is if you're talking about underrated, D-Rob is underrated, in my opinion.
I think D-Rob became underrated now because he's not spoken about enough. But you talking about a guy that, the last guy to do what to give you the rare, like, don't he got a record that ain't gonna never be broken, that quintuple double shit? Wasn't it some shit like that?
Like a quad double or whatever.
Yeah, wasn't it like yeah, like well, yeah. I think Wilt supposedly did it. Which I'm not putting it past Wilt. They said Wilt did it, and I'm going to believe it. Yeah. So yeah, David Robinson. Yeah, I think he became underrated, but in the '90s, nah, David Robinson. A lot of people was saying David Robinson was better than Hakeem. I mean, I personally think that, but I can see why people think Hakeem was. But I personally think that because I think in the '90s, David Robinson, was
I
the
think
best
they
center
were,
of the
they were
90s.
very comparable, especially defensively. Like they were two of the better defensive, especially like I did so many things on D-Rob, right? Like about how big of a defensive impact he had on that team is ridiculous. Like second only to overall like Bill Russell, right? As far as just the sheer defensive impact. But no, I think D-Rob was amazing too. He's one of my favorite players ever. Just favorite, as in he's my favorite, but also James Worthy. But there's a just to answer your question, your pause. The 1900s is something that you will see shock jocks or LeBron fans say in order to try and make it seem older, right?
I like how you call them shock jocks and you don't mention them by name.
Like 1900s is like they won't say the 90s. They'll say that because it makes it sound like it's old and irrelevant. They can't like it's like what we're talking about here. Like they're not going to be like cool. Just be like talk about it, and praise it, its own merits, its own values. They'll be like 1900s. We don't talk about that here. So
yeah, these are guys that don't appreciate basketball and they'll use them when it's convenient. You never hear me and much as like I said, if y'all guys go on my Twitter, you will see a landfill of me going in on LeBron. I do it to mostly troll and piss off LeBron fans. But if we having a good conversation, and I know, it's in this basketball talk or forum style talk, I'm not going to sit over here and critique LeBron. Now, if you ask me my opinion or you want to do comparisons and stuff like that, that's when you'll get my criticisms of him when we comparing him. But if we just talking about him straight up and down, yeah, I do think there's a lot of players I feel like I'll pick over him based on their game style.
Yeah, I've always said I would never draft LeBron first in an ultra. Like if I'm drafting first to build a team, I'm taking probably Hakeem or I'm taking like 1970 Kareem, right? Like I'm LeBron.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm taking a few players. I'm probably taking Wilt, Jordan, Tim Duncan, David Robinson. Yes. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of players first over LeBron. He's probably not. I could probably name like 20 players I'll play, and it's not because of that. It's just I feel like I can get more from the players. I like more versatile players that can. My style is more so players that can be effective without the ball. Yes. You know what I'm saying? If I'm building my team, and if I'm going to have a ball dominant guy, I'm going to take Jordan over LeBron if I'm going to get a ball dominant guy.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Kobe versus LeBron would be a toss-up because I really don't know who I'll pick before them. Probably Kobe because I feel like he's a better defender. But it's no slight on him. It's all about preference. If you like a game where you like a ball dominant guy that can get you, rebounds, points, and assists, then take LeBron. But if I'm building my team, I would like somebody that can do that, not at a rate where they need the ball to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and like you said, you'd also like somebody who's fantastic off the ball and like working for it all the time, like somebody like Steph or Kobe was good at that too. Kobe was really good at that. And
Kobe was his younger years. Yeah, his younger years, he displayed a lot, and a lot of people don't know about that. Kobe was a great off-ball player in his younger years. He had no fucking choice. He had no fucking choice to play. Kobe was a very good slasher, very good cutter, which LeBron is too. LeBron's a very good cutter with a slash. He's just lazy. He's just lazy, dog. He's just lazy and whatnot. What do you say? Kobe and Jordan fans don't diss older players because they go after LeBron. Yeah. That is true, but they do play a part of all of this discourse and stuff like that. I think I'm not going to exclude them from not making the problem worse because they did make the problem worse. We say they got an echo chamber. Let the motherfuckers stay in that bitch and talk that. We don't got to acknowledge them. But by default, LeBron fans do rub it in your face. He the GOAT. He better than Kobe. When it's just like, dog, you can't do what Kobe did, but Kobe can do what you did. At least that's how I feel.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is the kind of conversation, and it's for everyone in chat, right? Like Viz said, we get to an equilibrium, like when it's okay to say, hey, this is my top 5 or top 10, and tell why. You can talk about players objectively, talk about the ups and downs of the career without having like a huge fight or being called a hater or just a Jordan stan or LeBron stan. And it's lost. That's why you get so many people frustrated on those other shows because they get muted or silenced just for giving their opinion, right? And then screamed off the show. And so I think we're trying to build a culture of, sharing information and opinions without being like, hey, you don't know basketball because you have this guy 3 spots higher than I do or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's always the way to go when you talking about hoops like that. I feel like the moment of yelling and screaming it plays a part when it's time. Like when you're doing that debate and y'all comparing stuff. But other than that, these conversations you should be able to have. And on top of that, if you want to say your player is better, you do not got to tear down the player. That was my whole thing. Why I go at LeBron fans on Twitter. I constantly hear them diss Westbrook. Even now, I'm sure you seen your crew or your old crew go at Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
it's just like, yo, y'all diss Anthony Davis, but y'all niggas, I'm sure y'all was on his pipe once he got there. If Anthony Davis don't show that LeBron is not a 4-time champion, and that's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and y'all diss that man, but they will never come at LeBron. They will never criticize him.
No, and like what's sad is too is like, I think LeBron had a great year that year, but AD led that team in everything except for assists, right? And like, they don't talk about that. AD was great.
I forgot about that too. Holy shit!
Yeah, every metric, and like he was fantastic. But he didn't get any recognition from the MVP department. He was great in those playoffs too. Obviously, he was a huge part of the reason why he led the playoffs in scoring and PER. Like he was amazing, but you can't say that because it quote unquote detracts from LeBron, right? I give AD props all day long. Yeah, the injury stuff is separate, but obviously when you talk about how he great at like his peak on the court, give that man his flowers. And like
I swear that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Is I look at it like that like if he was so great, like a lot of things, I feel like it just contradict things when it comes to LeBron because they say he make players better, which I'm starting not to hear as much these days. Which I'm happy that he make players great because people be debunking that shit to the ground.
I hate
they be debunking that shit to the ground, boy. So I don't hear that as much these days. But when I used to hear it, it didn't really make sense to me. But yeah, they discredit LeBron. I mean, they discredit AD. They downplay Kyrie. It's just like I never hear them. I hear them down, and I'm sure they probably do give them their flowers. But when I hear them I hear more downplaying of those players than I hear upplay of them.
Mm-hmm.
And these players should be appreciative because without those players, you're not having no GOAT conversation without those players helping them because he used a lot of great players. Not to say he used, but he teamed up with a lot of great players to achieve some of those championships. Well, no, not some, to achieve all those championships he got. And vice versa. He helped those players become champions. Kyrie wouldn't be a champion without LeBron. AD damn sure would be a champion without LeBron because AD wasn't really doing it. He was just a great talent. But, in hindsight, AD's not really a number one guy. He's a good complimentary guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a good complimentary guy. And I'm not going to be honest to say that. And I love AD. I could be honest to say that. But somebody like Dwayne Wade, who I feel like those guys, if you're going to praise Scottie Pippen, they need to be cheered. You already know what I say, man. When it comes to those guys, they need to be praising Dwayne Wade just on a level as they praise Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were around for the one where he's like, I've heard they go far as to say that Scottie Pippen was a greater all-time player than Dwayne Wade or better.
Yeah, I heard that, man.
Crazy.
I heard that, dog. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. And their argument isn't based on something that's healthy and honest. It's based on like stupidity. Because if you take somebody like, I think the Wade versus Scottie Pippen as far as what they do on the team is a good argument, but the way they use it is just so disingenuous. It's so wrong. Like it's just not even cool. It's not even like, you know what I mean?
No, 100%. Like the arguments you would use are just ridiculous because they'll try to be like, okay, well, Scottie was better in every single way, and Dwayne Wade. It's just like it's not when you're not talking basketball, right? Like you're not talking like that. they don't care that Dwayne Wade led his own team to a championship, right? And like they're always say like, no, that was Shaq's team. Just ridiculous.
Brother, I'm telling you, yo, it's
Same.
and they do that, and we know why they do that. They do that because Jordan is so revered as being the guy on that Bulls team, and they want that to match up with Jordan. So they got to do the discredit because we all acknowledge that, yes, even though the negative connotations I don't think apply to Scottie Pippen when they say sidekicks. I just think everything after that is negative. But yes, Scottie Pippen was the second best player on that team, a la sidekick, right? And they don't want LeBron to have that label, or they try to diminish the second best guy. Because somebody like Dwayne Wade, if you're talking about 2011, was on par with LeBron. We're not saying who was better or the person, because just like LeBron was on par with Kobe, and we talk about 07, LeBron was on par with Kobe as far as what they can do to a team. So that's not a shot or disrespect saying that. And LeBron played with a guy that was on par with him. That can do what he do, that did more than what he did. It's just that LeBron was the better overall talent than Wade, but he wasn't a better winner than Wade at that time.
No, absolutely. And like it's only now recently become a quote unquote insult, right? To say things like you can't just say, hey, no, Scottie was great. He was a fantastic defender, great facilitator. He was a part of the glue of that team. No, you have to say, nope, Scottie was a top 5 guy in the 90s, period. Scottie was better than Mike for half the time. You can't just give Scottie flowers because it's a downplay, right? Same thing with Wade, right? You can't say Wade was a champion before LeBron got there, which is true. You have to say, no, Wade missed the playoffs like 2 years after. Like you can't just arbitrarily give without breaking it down and hating them, right? Because everything's an insult toward whatever player. And it's just, you're right. Just bad takes all over the place.
I don't think that's cool. And at no point you can at least say, you can say up until 2012, or I'll say 2013 for real, that. But I won't argue. I really won't debate 2012 much, but because we know why. Because Wade himself said he had to take a back seat, so that kind of like says he's not on par with LeBron. But there were years that Dwayne Wade was on par with LeBron. He can carry his own team. He
I think 09 Wade stacks up with any LeBron season almost.
Yeah, he was an MVP. He was fighting LeBron for the MVP a couple years or whatnot. Pippen was never fighting Jordan for that MVP, brother. He was never on the same level at any point of Michael Jordan. Did he get close a few times? Yeah, if you want to say that, 92, 93. But even still, him being that close wasn't on that level of him. He played with players that can match him, at least with Dwayne Wade. You can argue AD. I won't really get too much pushback with AD being on LeBron level at that. Well, you can't say at that time, but I won't get that Dwayne Wade because him and Dwayne Wade came in at the same time. So it's easy to line that up better than AD and LeBron as far as like the trajectory they was on at that time. Because LeBron was like year 17 when he got AD or some shit like that. So, and Kyrie obviously wasn't on LeBron level or Love, but he played with a guy that can match him bar for bar, at least for 2 years and years prior to that, to a point that he became the champion before you. Yet that don't get highlighted. That shit should be talked about more than everything. Like, he did play with Dwayne Wade. He played with a dude that didn't even need him for a championship. This dude is great. I don't hear that. And I don't like that.
No, exactly. And hey, Wade and like LeBron had the same scoring average in 2011 when they were on the same team. It's like, okay, like you're right. That's never happened with anyone like Kobe and Shaq did that in the playoffs, but it was, it's like the whole message should be, guys, it's okay to talk about players and teaming up and them being great with each other without having to take a shot at somebody, right? Dwayne Wade is one of my favorite, fantastic player, right? Definitely, I think not a stretch to say maybe like a top 25 to 30 player, right?
Yeah, top 25, 35 player, yeah.
100%, right? And same thing with Scottie Pippen. And it's just like we got away from just talking the game, and now it's just about you have to talk in a certain way. It's almost like politics at some point. Like you have to kind of do it in a certain way, otherwise you're a hater or you don't like this player or whatever, So, but yeah, great takes as usual, man. You go ahead and plug I mean, you said you were dropping a video today?
Yeah, as soon as I get off this joint, I'm about to finish putting my description and all that. Oh yeah, Armani Viz, y'all. Salute to everybody that come through. Y'all guys ain't subscribed. Please help me out because my sub count is kind of flawed. They gonna say I'm at 2,000, but you know I got botted twice, so I'm not even worrying about it. Like whatever at this point. I just hopefully I start getting real like subscribers again. But yeah, Armani Viz _ I'm about to drop a video right now, pretty much talking about some of the things these guys was talking about, man. And yeah, T-Purple, man, whenever where your channel at, T-Purple, so I can subscribe to your channel. You be going live?
Yeah, man. It's right on when right now. It's called Lights Out Sports Debates. And
all right, I'm once I get off this joint, I'm gonna go search for it. I forgot I'm on stream right now, YouTube. I'm gonna pop that joint and I'm gonna follow your channel, man. And yeah, man, whenever y'all want to collab, man, I'll be here, man. I ain't doing nothing all this weekend. I've been in the crib, so I'm gonna pull back up for sure.
No, absolutely, man. We appreciate it. And Eric up here, his channel name is Armani Viz, basically just Armani this space Viz VIS. And yeah, he like I said, he's one of my new favorite content creators I discovered. He's out there breaking truth bombs all the time. Uploads great videos with great exposés, a lot of knowledge packed in there a lot of times. And so yeah, everyone here go subscribe to that. Obviously, me and him and me and Ro like to get him and do like exactly what you're seeing here, just talking the game, exposing bad takes and narratives, and not being afraid to do so. And so everyone, shout out to you though, man. Like for doing some great job out there, and
appreciate you, brother.
Really like what we see. But with that being said, everyone, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy it, and we will talk to everyone again later.